Hello and welcome to the Ouachita News Show. It's the first show of the semester. I'm Kaylin Clay.
And I'm Haley Short. It's been a busy first couple of weeks back from rush to pledge and a little bit of winter weather. But things are getting back to normal and it's getting warmer outside. To kick us off today, Josh Engel has the forecast.
Welcome back to Ouachita Tigers. Weather here is once again great as always. As you can see here, we've got a high of 62 going on, which hilariously enough is very, very similar to the temperatures it was about the time we left last semester. Highs in the 60s, low in the 30s. 35 is our low today. So still very, very cold. But generally throughout the main part of the day, it's going to be a very comfortable 62. Moving on into the rest of the week, you will notice that temps are going to stay around that area in the highs. I mean, as you can tell here, we got 60s, highs of 60s for most of the week. 68 on Friday is going to be our peak temperature. And then the lows, interestingly enough, they start off with 35 is our low today, and then it's going to rise, and it's going to keep rising, and then it's going to start dropping again, and by the end of the week, we're going to be back to 35. So temperatures are going to, while the high is going to stay pretty close to the same area, the low is going to go up and then back down. Something to keep in mind, especially in the later hours of the day. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be paying attention to this here. Saturday and Sunday, we will be seeing some rain. Saturday is going to be pretty wet. It's going to start that day. We're going to see some rain that moves on in and will be off and on potentially. Not as much rain as we saw last week. Thankfully, we won't be seeing hopefully as many inches of rain as we saw last week. There was some severe flooding going on in the region. Even a parking lot was flooded, which was pretty severe. So definitely hoping that that does not happen again. We'll just have to pay attention to that, though, as the week progresses, as things could change. However, as of this moment, the rain will continue, start Saturday, and will continue into Sunday morning. Will kind of dissipate by that afternoon. So I know some of you guys like to go home over the break, over the weekend. So this is something to keep in mind for your travel plans as to whether or not you leave on Saturday, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. And if you go to church on Sunday morning, do be aware that it could be raining for you guys. But that is all the weather I have for you this week. Numbers are provided by AccuWeather. Back to the desk.
We are glad to see that sun out, and hopefully we won't see any more flooding anytime soon. Thanks, Josh. And in case you haven't heard, a new Miss OBU will be crowned in JPAC on Saturday night at 7 p.m. For Ouachita students, Bailey Gibson, Katie Beth Dunn, Diana Taylor, and Ava Weeks are vying for the title and a chance to win over $4,000 in scholarships. That's a lot of scholarship money. They will compete in a private interview earlier that day and at the pageant, lifestyle and fitness, talent, on-stage conversation, and evening gown. To support these young ladies, you can purchase tickets through the box office.
Also coming up, the Virginia Queen Piano Competition is this Friday at noon in Macbeth Recital Hall, and Christian Focus Week is next week. Various worship services, guest speakers, and breakout sessions will happen throughout the entire week. Check out the full schedule on obu.edu/campusministries/CFW schedule. Now, have you ever wondered what behind the scenes of the theater looks like? Reporter Madeline Colzer is going to give us the tour behind those events that start happening early this semester.
Whether your first show or your 25th, Ouachita theater professor John Fortner brings to the stage a new story with a wide range of talent.
It's very rare that you have a play with a cast as big as this one. Get in there and work with everyone. I felt like, oh, this might be a really good way to meet and work with the students and to really showcase them.
Over the course of several weeks, actors and technicians have been hard at work creating a new show. Many elements come together to make a show achieve the vision of the director. Everything from acting, props, sound, and lighting.
I'm primarily involved with the technical rehearsal end of things. And what I always enjoy is having the lights come into things. We've been building, people have been rehearsing and putting characters together.
The idea is ultimately we're on this journey together. And that has been the most exciting thing, is watching them as we're going through this jungle of a play together, watching them make the discoveries and watching as they have made this show their own.
Creating and performing a show can involve hours and hours of hard work, but in the end, all the blood, sweat, and tears pay off. This is Madeline Colzer with Ouachita News.
Well, February is Black History Month, and Ouachita's Multicultural Student Program and more are hosting the annual Soul Food Luncheon this Friday at noon in Walker Conference Center. All faculty, staff, and students are welcome to attend and hear from the alumni spotlight guest, Dr. Dwight McKissick, Cornerstone Baptist Church senior pastor and an author. Now, February is also American Heart Month. Americans are encouraged to focus on cardiovascular health and fight the #1 killer of Americans this month. Now, the American Heart Association has given us 10 tips to stay heart healthy. Balance calories with physical activity, reach for a variety of fruits and vegetables, choose those whole grains, include healthy protein sources, mostly plants and seafood, use liquid non-tropical plant oils, choose minimally processed foods, subtract added sugars, cut down on salt, limit alcohol, and do this wherever you eat.
And if you're looking for a way to get active, Ouachita Rec Life has you covered. Just a reminder that the Crag is open for climbing and rentals every Monday through Thursday from 4 to 8. And yoga classes are coming soon. It's been announced that Ouachita is partnering with Foundation Fitness for yoga. We'll keep you posted as we get more details on this. And intramural basketball is happening this week. If you're not playing, check the Rec Life app for the schedule so you can support your friends on the court. Now, speaking of sports, Brody Kriegel is back in the studio this semester to keep you in the know on Ouachita athletics. Brody, what's the Roar Rundown?
Welcome to the 2024 Roar Rundown. I'm Brody Kriegel, and it is now a hectic time of year, not just for students, but for athletes as well, as the majority of spring sports have started up. We begin with men's basketball as Emory Knox scored 39 points and tied 2 NCAA Division II records as the Ouachita men's basketball team took down cross-street rival Henderson State 91-85 Thursday night at Bill Vining Arena. After a slow start trailing 6-0 against the Ruddies, the Tigers woke up, immediately answering back with a 6-0 run of their own to tie the game less than 3 minutes later. However, the Ruddies got back in a rhythm, retaking the lead and pushing it out to 9 points with 12:37 left in the half. The Tigers weren't ready to quit yet as they began to chip away at HSU's lead, and with 5.5 minutes left in the opening period, the Tigers took their first lead of the night on a Knox three-pointer. From there, Ouachita took control of the game, pushing its lead out to 9 points just before halftime to take a 39-30 lead into the break. Ouachita kept their foot on the gas in the second half, leading by double digits 3 separate times, with 14 being the biggest one they held. Despite a late comeback attempt by Henderson, the Ruddies fell just short, losing 91-85. Emory Knox played like he was from another planet, as he was the game's leading scorer, dropping a career-high 39 points on 13 of 15 shooting. Knox was 10 for 10 beyond the arc in the win, tying an NCAA Division II and Great American Conference single-game record for consecutive three-pointers made, which was last accomplished by fellow Tiger Lakey Westbrook against Harding in 2017. Going perfect from long distance also ties Knox for another D2 record, as only one other person in Division II has ever recorded a 100% three-point percentage with 10 made threes, as Rodney Edgerton of Kentucky Wesleyan also went 10 for 10 in 2007. Knox's 39 points are unofficially an NCAA-era school record, as a previous high was 38 points scored by Mitchell Boulding against Southeastern Oklahoma State in 1998. Knox is the first Tiger to score 30-plus points in a game since K.D. Smith scored 34 in 2019 against Southwestern Oklahoma State. The junior from South Carolina also handed out 7 assists, which is the most by a Tiger in a single game this season. Taryn Williams was next in scoring with 23 points, followed by M.J. Leslie with 17. Roland Belton grabbed 8 rebounds and blocked 2 shots to lead the team in those categories. As a team, Ouachita shot 55.4% from the field and 66.7% from three-point range, while holding HSU to 46% shooting. The Tigers' 66.7% from long range is the team's highest single-game percentage since Ouachita shot 72.7% from 3 against Arkansas Tech in 2019. The Tigers will look to stay hot as they travel to Searcy, Arkansas to take on the Bisons of Harding University on Saturday, January 27th. Tip-off is set for 3 p.m. In women's basketball, an extra 10 minutes was needed to determine a victor on Thursday night inside a packed Bill Vining Arena in the Ouachita versus Henderson State women's basketball rivalry game of the season, with the Reddies coming out on top 94-92 in double overtime. There were a combined total of 13 lead changes and 16 tied scores throughout the game, with Ouachita's largest lead at 5, multiple times, and Henderson's at 9 with 26 seconds remaining in the second period. HSU ended up with an 8-point lead at halftime before Ouachita came out with a 21-point performance in the third period to force a 52-all tie heading into the fourth. The Tigers took a lead on a Joey Babel jumper with 8:51 remaining and held that lead for most of the fourth period. Ouachita's Madeline Tipton nailed a pair of free throws with 31 seconds in the fourth to finalize the regulation scoring at 65-all. The Tigers again led for the majority of the first overtime period, including up by 5 with 16 seconds remaining on a layup from Abby Harrison. The Reddies rallied and used a three-pointer at the buzzer to force a second overtime with the game tied up at 84. The story was similar in the second overtime, with the Tigers holding the lead most of the way, including a 5-point edge on a jumper by Lainey Mears with 1:38 remaining. The Reddies got a three-pointer with 32 seconds remaining to force the game's 16th tie score, and then, following a Ouachita turnover, used a layup in the final seconds to seal the win. Ouachita's last-second attempt was not as lucky as HSU's at the end of the first overtime period. 5 Tigers reached double digits in scoring, led by Madeline Tipton with 18 points. Samantha Watson followed with career highs in points 17 and rebounds 8. Audrey Winfrey finished with a career-high 14 points to go along with 6 boards. Grayson Fairless added 13 points and 8 boards. Lainey Mears ended up with 11 points and 7 rebounds. The Tigers are on the road this Saturday, January 27th, to take on Harding for a 5:30 p.m. tip-off in Searcy. The Ouachita men's swimming and diving team picked up a big senior night win, taking down number 13 Henderson State for the first time in 12 years by a score of 133-110 Friday night at Wagner Pool. This marks the first time the Tiger Shark men have beaten the Red Wave since January 27, 2012, when Ouachita won 126-114 at home. The Tiger Sharks won a total of 8 events. Those winners were Tyler Andrus, who won the 1,000 freestyle with a time of 9:46.07. Andrus also picked up a win in the 500 free with a time of 4:39.22, winning by 6 seconds. Elijah Christensen won the 200 freestyle with a time of 1:41.60. Christensen also won the 200 butterfly with a time of 1:50.37, winning by roughly 5 seconds. Jeff McCoy won the 200 backstroke by less than a second with a time of 1:50.97. McCoy also placed second in the 200 IM with a time of 1:55.93, 0.17 seconds out of first. Carson Powers won 1 meter diving with a score of 274.25, winning the event by almost 70 points. Powers also won the 3 meter dive by 64.5 points with a score of 256.55. Miles Scholes won the 200 breaststroke by 1.5 seconds with a time of 2:03.09. The Tiger Shark men honored 8 seniors before the meet. They were Elijah Christensen, Chad Giselle, Jeff McCoy, Parker Nelson, Noah Smith, Jack Stevens, Barrett Troop, and Duncan Troop. All 8 of these seniors have played big roles for Ouachita Swim and Dive over their careers, and their skills and leadership will be missed. The 133-110 win over number 13 Henderson is the 3rd win over a top 25 opponent for the Tiger Shark men this season. The men currently sit at number 23 on the CSCAA top 25 poll. Next up, the Tiger Sharks will head to Cleveland, Mississippi to take on the Statesmen of Delta State University on February 2nd and 3rd. The women's swimming and diving team picked up its 3rd win of the season over cross-street rival Henderson State on senior night, taking down the Red Wave by a dominant score of 152-82 Friday night at Wagner Pool. The win marks the 3rd win in a row over Henderson for the Tiger Sharks, who have now won 9 of the last 11 against the Red Wave. The Tiger Sharks won a total of 9 events. Those winners were Anna Phelps, who won 3 events, the 1,000 freestyle by a margin of 25 seconds with a time of 10:40.95. Phelps also won the 500 free by a 10-second margin with a time of 5:12.16, and the 200 butterfly. Kaylee Holcomb won the 200 IM with a time of 2:09.44. She also won the 200 breaststroke with a time of 2:27.37. Abigail Kennard won the 3 meter dive with a score of 199.75 points. Kennard also placed second in 1 meter diving with a score of 221.30 points, 0.95 points away from first place. Jameson Tankersley won the 200 backstroke with a time of 2:13.29. The 400 medley relay squad of Jameson Tankersley, Kaylee Holcomb, Rachel Del Angel, and Dee Dee Christensen won the event with a time of 4:03.64, winning by almost 15 seconds. The 400 free relay squad of Del Angel, Steika, Rousseau, and Nordstrom won the event by 5 seconds with a time of 3:47.39. The Tiger Sharks women honored 2 seniors before the meet, Erin Rousseau and Tori Weems. Rousseau and Weems have both been big contributors to the Tiger Sharks during their careers at Ouachita. The Tiger Sharks will be back in action on Friday, February 2nd and Saturday, February 3rd, when they travel to take on the Lady Statesmen of Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. While some of these sports may come into a close, baseball, softball, and track are on the horizon, as the spring season is set to hit the ground running soon, no pun intended. If you want to keep up with the latest in Ouachita sports, be sure to visit obutigers.com and tune into the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. That's all for this week's Aurora Rundown. I'm Brody Kriegel. Back to the desk.
Well, thanks, Brody. All of this talk about athletics and heart health is making me want to get active, especially in this beautiful weather we're having today. Now, we asked you all on Instagram what your favorite way to exercise is, and here are your responses.
Reagan Adams said walking outside, Allie Hilkema said running, and Madeline McKay said rock climbing. I don't know about you, Kaylin, but my favorite way, it's not cardio, I can tell you that. I like to go weight training. Shout out A-Town Fitness. That's where I like to go. What about you?
Nice. Okay, I love dancing. I got into this little YouTube channel, like dance workout thing over quarantine, and it has been my favorite form of exercise since.
Gives you a little bit of serotonin too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for you all today. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Ouachita News Show and to answer each question of the week. You just might see your responses pop up on the show.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ouachita News Show, so you never miss out on the latest and greatest Ouachita news. We'll see you next week.